Snacks in hand, the vibe is set, and once I start, you won't forget. Don't eat too much, cause you gotta stay fine. But come on, bestie, it's story time! Hi, bestie, I missed you. You got your snack ready? You got your, rolling equipment ready? Okay. Now, this story actually took place in Egypt. For the sake of this story, let's call this girl Gina. Well, Gina had to move to Egypt for work. And she was really excited because it's Egypt. Didn't know too much about Egyptian, ancient, anything. But she thought that since she has to go for work, it's time to, learn a little bit more. So she starts doing some research just to learn about some stuff. She finds all the basic, Egyptian myths and stuff like that with the god. She got bored real quick, so she decided to leave it alone. Just enjoy the experience for itself. Oh boy, did she. Well, she moves there and all is great, right? As she's there, she's learning, and she starts to get close with some of the locals. Not like the tourist locals. I'm talking about the people that know the spiritual side of things kind of locals. The stuff that's not advertised, There was this one specific local that was so nice to her, super nice to her, introduced her to some of her friends. They would go out, sightseeing, do some activity. So it was pretty cool. Until that specific local, let's call them Mary? I gotta get better with coming up with names. I said I was gonna start using y'all names. Call her Christina. One day, when she's hanging out with Christina tells her, hey, I really have to talk to you about something important. So Gina's like, yeah, sure, what's up? Gina basically tells her that you have something on you. I've been felt it. I've been, seeing it on you. But I didn't quite know how to bring it up to you. So I guess this is me bringing it up to you. So Gina's like, what are you talking about? Gina's like, yeah, you have something that attached to you really badly. And it's literally sucking the life out of your life. And you need a cleansing. And so immediately, Gina's in Egypt, So she's hearing this from one of the locals. She's like, yes, please take me to do a cleansing. Boom, they set it up. Cleansing ceremony took place outside of the city, by the desert. That was red flag number 1. Number 2, no phone, no lights, no nothing except candles and fire. Herbs, because they were burning herbs. And even the herbs that, they were burning, she didn't recognize. She said the air smelled like pure metallic, like blood. So she get there, right? And she's seeing all of this. You would think this would be enough for her to turn away. No. Say, Gina, but you're wildin'. Because when they were about to start, they then asked Gina, hey, I'm gonna ask you something personal. Let me know if you want to do it, but just know that we can't do the ritual without it. So Gina's like, okay, what is it? They said, we need a piece of your hair. And she hesitated for a second, but they assure her that it's for her protection. She did it. She did it, y'all. And that's when things started going wrong. So they did what they had to do, right? They go home. After that night, Gina constantly felt watched. It does not matter what time of the day, what she's doing. She always felt like she was being watched. Not like a paranoid watched, spiritually watched. Something was always just standing behind her. Sleep became very heavy and violent. She would wake up exhausted. Sometimes she would even wake up with scratch marks on her body, random places of her body. At first, she thought that maybe she's just because her sleep became so violent, she was just scratching herself without realizing. Until she started realizing that some of the scratches, the places that they're in, it's not places she could reach. Then it escalated even more because then her mirrors started being a problem. She couldn't stand mirrors. Every time she looked into them, she swore her reflection is lagging. It's by a millisecond. Enough to notice and enough for it to feel wrong. At this point, we're 2 weeks past, right? And she's dealing with all of this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put together that all of this was happening after that ritual for protection. So she decided, I don't think it was for protection. I need to watch her close. She started to hang out with the local a little less. The local would always invite her to stuff like they always do. But she's been, trying to pull back. In the meantime, things aren't even getting better because at this point, nighttime, she started hearing whispers in Arabic that she don't even understand. Well, she's dealing with all of this, right? So obviously she had already started pulling back, but genuinely though, she didn't really have to pull back because all of this is actually taking a toll on her. As she's going through this, the local is blowing up her phone like, why don't you go out with us anymore? Why don't you ever want to come out? At first, she was just like making excuses to the girl, but then she started being on the type of time where it's like, yo, all of this that's happening to me might be because of you. Fuck you. So she basically said that to her. She ain't say fuck you, but she was like, yo, like ever since you had that protection thing that you told me that was supposed to help me, life ain't been the same. And I really feel like that wasn't a protection thing. So going forward, I really feel like I don't want to, like, I don't feel like we should be friends. I don't want to go out anymore. I don't want to keep in contact. Please stop calling me. All the local said was, you're going to regret this, and hangs up the phone. So the local said what she said, and she hung up the phone. And Gina's not really thinking nothing of it, but she still was like, what you mean by that? So Gina already put it in the back of her head, like, I really gotta look out for you, because that was low-key a threat. But I'm not scared of you. So she goes on with her regular routine that night, and she goes to sleep. As she's laying in bed, all of a sudden, she can't breathe. Like, on some, she really thought she was about to pass away. She cannot breathe. She opens her mouth, and something is falling out of her mouth. So she jumps out the bed, goes to the sink. Y'all, there is sand in her mouth. She said that is the most traumatizing thing that ever in her life happened to her. She immediately broke down. But she also knows exactly where it's coming from, you know? But at this point, she's like, yo, I'm in Egypt. This is not even my home. I don't know these people. What am I gonna do? And I can't, like, if I leave here, I would have to quit my job. And she had a really good job that she'd been working with for a really long time. So ultimately, she decided that she's gonna do research. She's gonna go to somebody else. She just has to be, like, extra careful because she has no other choice. So she ends up finding this older lady. So she meets up with the older lady, and the moment she walks into, like, the older lady's place, the lady looks at her and literally took a whole step back. And she, like, looked so worried. Before Gina could even open her mouth, the lady's like, yo, don't worry, I got you. You don't even gotta explain nothing to me. You don't even look like you're from around here. It happens a lot, so come on. Gina immediately started crying, bawling her eyes. The older lady was very motherly. Like, he told her, like, hey, it's okay, I got you. We're gonna help you. She had Gina literally strip down, like, strip her clothes down, like, to where she was literally entirely naked. Guess what? She had her lay in a spiritual bath. What do I be telling y'all? Ebook is in the bio. I ain't gonna say too much. Anyway, so the older lady do what she gotta do, and Gina said that whole experience was literally the most satisfying feeling she's ever had. Like, she felt like she got things off of her spiritually from generations ago. I don't know what that means. She said she don't know what that means, but that's how she feels. Then after all of that, the lady sits her down, and she basically told her that someone paid somebody to put something on her. Now, this thing that is going to be attached to her is not going to harm her physically, but it's going to drain her peace, her relationships, her direction and destiny altogether. Now, I told y'all, she's not from Egypt. She's there for work, and she works a pretty good job to be able to, so you know, she got a little money. And a lot of the times, locals try to get people that, you know, have money like her, that come abroad for work, and try to destiny swap. That's basically what they were trying to do to her. In parts of North Africa, black magic is not about, like, pins and dolls. It's about attachments, like spirit assigned to linger, to influence, to sit quietly and wait. I don't think a lot of people talk about those kinds. She also told her that whatever was attached to her wasn't violent yet because it was still feeding. She didn't get some help. The more she would have been going through that, the more it would have been demanding more. Anyway, you get it, right? So all of that happened. Now, obviously, this is like, what the fuck to her. By the end of that week, she spoke to her boss and basically told her boss everything. Now, she fully went in there expecting to lose her job, but her boss actually happened to know about that too. So her boss was basically like, yeah, I understand. She wasn't fired. She was just relocated. Thank God she got to keep her job, but that was the scariest thing that ever happened to her. If you want to know how to protect yourself from that, the ebook, I'm telling you. Okay, I love you. Bye.
So people think that black magic only destroys enemies, but what they don't tell you is that it comes back eventually through your own bloodline. I am back with another spooky story, and I'm just gonna warn you right now. You may not want to watch this one at night. So we're gonna call the person who submitted this story Nandy. So Nandy says in her family, there's a rule that has been passed down very firmly. And it is that you never mess with the dead. And if you do, the consequences are yours to face alone. Well, Nandy had an uncle, though she never really considered him one, but by blood they were uncle and niece. He was deeply involved in all forms of black magic and rejected anything that had to do with church, God, the Bible, etc. Now, Nandy's grandmother, on the other hand, was completely God-centered. Whenever those two are in the same place, it felt like a battle between an angel and a demon. And this wasn't a secret. Everybody knew this. So Nandy's grandmother knew that she couldn't change her son. However, she made it her mission to protect the grandchildren. She swore that none of them would ever have anything to do with the things that he practiced. However, grandma failed to protect one child, although she never stopped praying that God would keep her safe. What made this all more painful was that her grandmother never met this child. She never even seen this child's face. So that child was the uncle's firstborn, a daughter. He hid her so well that no one truly knew what she looked like. Only a few adults in the family even knew she existed. No one spoke about her. There were no pictures of her anywhere. Even the mother and younger sister somehow had never seen her. So much so that the younger sister grew up believing that she was the firstborn. And to this day, that girl doesn't know that she has an older sister. Now, the real firstborn, nobody knows her name. Only a few adults in the family knows. Now, back to the grandmother. While her husband was still alive, the grandmother bought a piece of land and guarded it fiercely. After her husband's death, she continued to protect the land. The second the uncle found out about that land, he became restless. He wanted to sell it immediately, by any means necessary. Now, the grandmother knew his intentions, but refused to give it to him. Actually, she planned on giving the land to her second son. That uncle could not stand the idea that that land was going to go to someone else. He fought for it for years. He performed countless acts of black magic. People died, and he still couldn't get the land. Well, when spiritual attacks failed, he turned physical. He would attack the grandmother repeatedly, physically and emotionally. She was an old woman, clearly not as strong as him, but she refused to give in. And despite everything he did, he could not harm her spiritually or socially. So during this ongoing battle over the property, remember the hidden daughter? Yeah, she winds up passing away. And that's when a few people finally learned that she ever existed. Her burial was worse than death itself. It was done in secret, as though she never even lived at all. So 1 year after the daughter's burial, the grandmother dies from an illness. So on the day of the burial, the mother, uncle, and first son all get into this terrible confrontation. The uncle says some unforgivable things to the mother, which even made her cry. The grandmother was buried on a Friday, and it is their tradition to go to church before and after the burial. So they went to church that Sunday. Well, guys, during that service, the pastor called her second uncle aside and warned him, told him to build a house far away from the grandmother's home. He told him that the first son was going to try to claim the property by any means necessary, and that if he failed, he would unalive him either physically or spiritually. The second uncle said there was nothing he could do. The pastor warned him again to think about his family before making any decisions. Honestly, you guys, this story is so long, and y'all see my face. I'm tired, and I gotta get to work soon. This story actually did break my heart, like knowing how it ends. Wow. So you guys, y'all know the drill. Y'all gonna have to come back for part 2.
This man is one of the most dangerous black magic users ever. His name is Al-Hussein Al-Faraki, and in the late 80s, everyone in Egypt feared him because he was known for his black magic and contact with jinns. The reason why he terrorized Egypt and he's known for that is because this man low-key didn't give a fuck. You know when somebody does a bad thing, well, he tries to hide it. This man didn't. Everybody knew that he was specialized in summoning jinns and communicating with them, binding objects to spirits, and doing talismans and rituals. Basically black magic. And you used to do all this in his apartment, aka office. Now, after hearing all this, there is a question that comes in mind. Why can't people stop him? Good luck with that. First of all, nobody is trying to be cursed, respectfully. Second thing is, he was too far to be saved. Everybody knew that this will end badly. The stuff he's doing are too dangerous even for an expert. And without any surprise, something shocking happened to him. But before telling you what happened, let me tell you that this man made cash. Unlike other magicians, Al-Hussein Al-Faraki was so quiet, so calm, and educated. If I had to describe him with a word that we will use this day, I would say nonchalant. Not even joking. And this right here will get him so known and trusted. It got to a point where he didn't accept middle-class people anymore. All his clients were known actors, businessmen, and politicians. If an actor secretly went to his apartment tonight and paid him well, this man will do his thing, he will do his black magic, and that actor will win an Oscar tomorrow. That's how good he was. Now, many people say that working with jinns is dangerous but possible, but you should never try to control them, and this man crossed the line. In 2003, he was found unalived in his own apartment. Oh, bro, maybe he suffered from something or basically a failure, like heart attack got him. No. His face was frozen in terror, like it saw something. His eyes were wide open and his jaw was broken. The most important detail in all of this was his apartment door. What about it? It was locked from the inside. If somebody unalived him, how can he lock the door of his apartment from the inside? After a long investigation, still nobody knows how this happened. He had no medical condition, nobody did this to him, and he didn't do it to himself. So his case was officially listed as unclear, but people around him were saying one thing. The jinn collected their debt.
This young boy used lip gloss to initiate girls in his school. Guys, don't mind the tears because this story is like wild. I don't know who narrated this story, but it's this other person. Honestly, kids who live in the suburbs are very privileged because there's not a lot of witchcraft in the suburbs, but in like townships and rural areas, guys, the witchcraft is on another level. And sorry if this story is like all over the place. I don't quite remember it. I just remembered it now, and I really wanted to share with you guys that you should be prayerful as a student because there are people who are evil. There are people who are initiated in schools and you do not know that. There are people whose parents use their kids to initiate other learners in the school. But regardless of that, let's get into the story. I don't know how long this is gonna be. It's a school, right? So there's this guy whose parents are witches. And I'm talking about high-level witches like Labona Bongakaba. Hey, like the top. Like, those people where politicians go to win their elections. Those type of, I don't want to say Sangoma, but those type of witches and what. Those are the higher ranking. So that child is a child of those higher ranking people. So it's this thing that parents send this child to go do whatever to the children and whatnot. So when came a time where like a lot of manifestations were happening at the school. A lot of like girls would scream, like, and a girl would manifest, and then the same day, the next day, another person will manifest. Like, if you don't know what manifesting is like, I don't wanna offend people, but yeah, let me not just say that. But when people manifest, it's like a spirit, a demonic spirit is manifesting. So it's then they scream and they sometimes talk to themselves and stuff. So that's what I mean by manifestations. So now in the school, there were different manifestations happening to a certain type of people or certain people in general. It came to the point where the principal brought in pastors. Like, I'm talking about like men and women of God, those who do exorcism, like deliverance. Some people say deliverance, but it's actually exorcism. So those who perform exorcism, like, to free and remove those demonic spirits that are attached to those learners. It got so bad that they had to call those pastors prophets or whatnot. I don't know who they were. Since these manifestations were taking place in a certain grade, they called everyone in that grade. So let's say if most of the manifestations were happening to like grade 11s, so then they called every grade 11 and every grade 12 and every grade 10, those above and under in that same grade. So they called all of them. They put them inside the hall. Then they started praying for everyone. So as they're praying for them, people are manifesting. People are being delivered. People are crying. Some people are trying to run out of the hall. They had to block out the doors. People, it was chaotic. Those who were manifesting, they wanted to leave. They're like, for some people is screaming, I'm on fire, I'm in pain. Hey. Bianong, as those people were manifesting. They were saying, hey, Lola, you. Those people were manifesting. It came to this boy. So when this boy, he doesn't move. Like, you know, those stubborn spirits. What's that? Oh, it's someone next door. So, you know, those stubborn spirits, those stubborn demonic spirits, or those stubborn witches that don't want to confess. You know, like if you have seen a deliverance, sorry about that, but if you have watched or seen a deliverance, you know how stubborn spirits and witches can be when they ask you, who are you? Hey, what do you want from this person, right? Sharp. So when on this boy, he's like, but who are you? He's just like taking steps back, like he's like stubborn, like, you know, stubborn. There's no way I can explain this, but this person was stubborn. Yo guys, stubborn. As much as he was stubborn, he started confessing. He's like, I'm one of the master's people, and that master is in this room. Time, they're talking about the master who is in the hall. So they're like, who is he? Who is this master that you listen to, that you listen his commands to, or whatever? Piano, he's like shaking his head. I can't. They're going to kill me. Hey. If it's a piano, they're forcing him, you know, and they're also praying. The other pastors, they're also praying. They're like, you know, they're praying. They're like, who is it? You will show me who this person is, who is causing like disruption in this school. Who is he? He's saying like, I can't. I'll rather point at him or show you him, but I can't say his name. Otherwise, they'll hurt me. They'll kill me. I can't. And you know, this is serious because like I said, that child master in the high school, their parents are high-level witches, warlocks, necromancers. Like, they're very dangerous, but not as powerful as the kingdom of Christ. But anyways, they're very high up there. So he was so scared that they were gonna kill him and what. So he's like, I'd rather point him to you, but I will not say his name. So he's walking. His eyes are closed. He's walking, but he can find his way to the master. Because don't forget, it's not the boy who's speaking, but whatever has manifested from him that's speaking. So when he walks. He then points to, hey! As soon as they point to that person, everyone was chaotic. Everyone was going crazy at the person who pointed the person. This is a very long story, but I'm summarizing to you guys. After that boy who manifested exposed the master of the school, they start questioning him and whatnot. And then, I don't know what happened. I don't remember what happened. So they start, like, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing to the kids in the school? He's confessing that he initiated a lot of girls in that school through lip gloss. Guys, whatever you use at school, pray for it. Now, people judge me. A lot of people judge me for praying over the stuff I use that I borrowed. But you can't get mad, because what if you're trying to do stuff to me? But regardless of that, they use lip gloss to initiate. That guy dated girls, and those girls would, after a few months of him dating them, and then the person who shared this story said that the reason why he wasn't killed, he wasn't initiated or forced into that cultish or what was because of his prayers and his mother's prayers. His family was prayerful to the point where that master could try and initiate anyone, but he couldn't initiate him. Mind you, that master used to sit next to that person in class. They used to share a table. It was so easy for him to get initiated, but because of the prayers his family had, kept him covered. He could not be touched. Moral of the story, please pray. Be prayerful. Whatever you do, whatever you borrow, whoever you talk to at school, please pray. You don't know. These people that you see that are kind and loving, they'll be the ones that will bewitch you. And you'll see yourself failing and stuff. But anyways, I've spoken enough.
I did a love spell on someone I was in love with and it worked. But what came after, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Nia. Nia said, I need to tell you something that I never thought I'd admit out loud. We're gonna call her crush Micah. His name was Micah. He had a girlfriend, but however, Nia didn't care. Nia said that she knew that Micah was supposed to be hers. Micah would smile at her sometimes, talk to her a little too long, and Nia thought maybe, just maybe, if she had a little help to help sway him from his girlfriend to her, she would be golden. Nia said that she knew what she felt for Micah was real. And in her eyes, Micah's girlfriend, we're gonna call her Rhea. To Nia, Rhea was just in the way. So Nia had heard about this woman in town that people were whispering about. They said that she could make things happen. So Nia went to the woman and told her that she wanted Micah to love her and only her. Now the woman looked at Nia long and hard before she said, and I quote, I can give you what you're asking for, but once it starts, you can't undo it. Nia said she didn't care, so she said yes because she wanted him. The woman gave her specific instructions on what to do. She needed a red candle, his photo, a little bit of honey, some personal ingredients, like personal item, a prayer over water at midnight, and some of her menstrual. Now Nia says she followed the instructions exactly to the T. She said, and let me tell you, it worked fast. Micah started texting her out of nowhere, and he started texting her more and more. He would find himself showing up where she was at, suddenly telling her that he couldn't stop thinking about her. He even said to her one day that he left his girlfriend, Rhea, out of the picture, gone. Nia said in that moment, hearing that this man done left his girlfriend Rhea for her, she said that, to be honest, she felt powerful. She felt chosen. Until, in one night, Micah shows up outside of Nia's house, crying, boo-hoo crying. And he just said to her out of nowhere, why did you do this to me? I can't eat, I can't think, I feel you even when you're not around. You tied my soul, I know you did something to me. Then out of nowhere, the man smiled. Now Nia says that this didn't look like his regular smile. It's like his face moved. There was something else inside of him entirely. And that's when he leans in and says to her, why didn't you feed it? To be continued. Let me know if you're ready for what happens next, because things only got darker from here. I be telling y'all, do not do a love spell on that man. Make sure you leave a comment for part 2. Before I go, my abducted humans, please make sure I'm holding down the #1 spot to be the Caribbean Music Awards award presenter. Now, this is a chance for all of us spooky girly, all of y'all that see yourselves through me. This is our opportunity not only to experience something, but be a part of something really freaking cool. Make sure, if you haven't already, you click the link in my bio and you vote for me. It's in my link tree. On top of my page, the link is right there. You can't miss it. After you vote for me, make sure you leave a comment saying that you're done. And if you want part 2, you better make sure I maintain that #1 spot from your favorite Haitian homegirl.